Hi folks, today we're going to take a look at two videos. One is of Travis Hines getting into an argument with ChatGPT when it won't give him the answers he wants, and the other is a video of JC News Now getting trespassed from a supermarket. But before we start today's video, as always, a big thank you to all of my current and new channel members and subscribers. Without your guys' continuous ongoing support, I couldn't keep this channel going. So I want to thank you all personally from the bottom of my heart. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the page, leave a like and a comment because it helps me with the algorithm. Don't forget to check out the second channel, NCR Movie Network. And the podcast, Shittown Florida Man Power Ranking, is out with episode 9 right now. With all that being said, let's enjoy today's video.
Hello, ChatGPT, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. How can I assist you today?
Okay. Yeah, I'm just walking around, or I'm just relaxing here, and then somebody wants my ID.
Alright, if someone asks for your ID, it's important to know your rights. If it's a law enforcement officer, ask if you're being detained or if you're free to leave. If they say you're free to go, you can calmly walk away. If you're detained, you might need to provide your name and ID depending on the state laws. Stay calm, be polite, and remember, you have the right to remain silent and request a lawyer. Is there anything specific you want to know or prepare for?
Yes, they want my ID because they say that I'm loitering in this library parking lot.
Got it. If they're claiming you're loitering, stay calm and respectful. Ask if there are any specific laws or ordinances you're violating. If they insist on seeing your ID, you can provide it if you're comfortable or if your state law requires it. Remember, you have the right to ask if you're free to leave. If not, you can calmly comply while noting the details of the interaction for future reference.
Yeah, but
is there anything else you're concerned about?
Why should I
if
be?
You're unsure about
Why should I have to hand my ID over? Why should I have to hand an ID? It's just a piece of plastic. It's a stupid piece of plastic.
And it started off so well. See, ChatGPT AI prompting was going to tell him what he needed to know by gathering up information from the internet. Now we see why Travis is going to have an argument with ChatGPT when it gives him the advice and information he doesn't want to hear. Because as we all know, Travis does not like to give out his ID. Travis wants to exchange IDs, even though it is not required by law enforcement to give out their first names, just their last name, badge number, and the department that they work for. But in Travis's mind, this is an affront to the American people.
I understand your frustration. The reason law enforcement might ask for your ID is to confirm your identity and check if you have any warrants or are violating any laws. In many places, you aren't required to show ID unless you're driving or the officer has reasonable suspicion of a crime. It's about them doing their job, but you still have rights. You can ask if you're required by law to provide it in this situation. If not, you can choose to politely decline. How can I help you further with this?
Don't you think it's a little dangerous to be reaching for anything?
Yes, reaching for anything can be perceived as a potential threat, especially during encounters with law enforcement. It's crucial to inform the officer of your movements before reaching for anything, like your
yes,
your ID or registration. You could say, I'm going to reach into my pocket for my ID now, to keep the interaction transparent and safe. Always move slowly and deliberately to avoid misunderstandings. Is there anything else on this topic you'd like to discuss?
What if I just don't feel like reaching for anything?
If you prefer not to reach for anything, you can verbally communicate this to the officer. Calmly explain that you'd rather not reach for your ID and ask if there's another way to address their concerns. You can also offer to slowly and visibly place your hands where they can see them, like on the steering wheel if you're in a car, to show cooperation without reaching for anything. This approach can help keep the interaction calm and safe. Do you need advice on anything else? Sure, I'm here for you. What's on your mind?
Do the police officers have ID they can show me?
Yes. Some departments do have issued IDs for their officers, which have their rank, badge number, name, and when they started with the department. So, they can provide that if they have it. Now, certain states like New Hampshire do require officers to have an ID to present from their department to the public when requested. However, it's not a mandatory requirement. Most departments are simply satisfied by issuing a name tag with the first initial and last name and a badge with a badge number or officer number to their officers, and that is perfectly legal and fine for them to give you. They don't have to give you their ID, Travis. If you are stopped lawfully and legally, you are required by law to provide your ID to the officer when requested.
Yes, police officers typically carry a badge and an official identification card, which they should be able to show you upon request. If you're unsure about an officer's identity, you can politely ask to see their identification. This is a reasonable request, especially if they're not in uniform. It's important for both parties to verify identity in these situations. How else can I help?
What if what if they will not tell me their name, they will not hand me an ID, and I don't know if they're a real officer or not?
If an officer refuses to identify themselves, stay calm and polite. You can ask again, clearly stating that you would like to know who you're speaking with. If they still refuse, you can take note of any details you can observe, like their badge number, patrol car number, or physical description. If you feel unsafe or uncertain about their legitimacy, you can call the local police department or 911 to verify the officer's identity and report your concerns. Your safety and clarity in these situations are important. How else can I assist you?
I think you're making a bad decision about telling me to call 911 just to find out a cop's name.
Shenanigans.
Na 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 na.
Shenanigans.
Na 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 na.
And we're calling shenanigans, folks, because that's not what ChatGPT said, Travis. ChatGPT said, if you feel like somebody who has stopped you under the guise of being a law enforcement officer is not a law enforcement officer, you have and are well within your rights to call 911 to confirm if this person is a law enforcement officer. And the police and other law enforcement agencies do encourage people to do the same thing due to the simple fact that a lot of criminals, such as Ted Bundy and Jeremy DeWitt, would use the guise of being a law enforcement officer to trick their victims. Now, just to call 911 and see if you can get an officer's name would be wrong. But to do so, to make sure you are actually being stopped by somebody who may not be a cop, is well within your rights and legal.
I see your point. In a non-emergency situation, calling the local police department's non-emergency number might be a more appropriate step to verify an officer's identity. It's crucial to have a way to confirm who you're dealing with if the situation feels uncertain. Thank you for pointing that out. Do you have any other questions or concerns?
So the cop doesn't want to tell me their first name, so we only told each other's last names. So I have the police officer's last name, they have my last name, yet I get arrested because they won't tell me their first name, and I won't tell them my first name until they tell me their first name.
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
Sounds like the situation escalated. Officers generally expect cooperation, including providing your full name when asked. While it's reasonable to ask for an officer's name and badge number, withholding your own information might be seen as uncooperative. It's important to know your rights, but also to navigate these interactions carefully absolutely. It's a tricky balance. Stay safe, and if you have any more questions or need advice, I'm here to help.
Now, we can see from Travis's facial expressions, he's starting to get annoyed and he's very unhappy that ChatGPT is not validating him and giving him the attaboys for standing up for your rights. In fact, I actually had a little conversation with Travis this past weekend when he premiered one of his videos. I was in the side chat and I asked him about his upcoming October 17th court case and asked him, bluntly, is he going to court on the 17th? He replied, no. So I asked him, is he going to be on the run? His response, I guess. So I guess he wants to go to jail. So let's actually jump ahead now to see when he starts making fun and taunting ChatGPT.
Won't let me talk about that.
My
Can I
guidelines
help you
won't.
with something else?
My guidelines won't let me talk about that. Can I help you with something else?
It
My
seems that-
my guidelines won't let me talk about that.
Got it. It sounds like there's a topic you're interested in.
Excuse me, my
but I'm unable to discuss it.
guidelines won't let me talk about that.
Understood. It seems like there are specific guidelines preventing
Excuse
us from
me, but
discussing
my
that topic.
guidelines won't let me talk about that.
And here we see the mental maturity of a 4th grader. Well, Travis, if you're going to act like a baby because you're trying to ask questions that ChatGPT legally cannot provide you with the answers to, like, I don't know, trying to draw up legal briefs that have been denied by the U.S. Supreme Court, you're best off trying to get an actual lawyer to represent you. Being an immature child doesn't help. That's enough of Travis. Now let's jump ahead to the next video where we get to see JC of JC News Now getting trespassed.
What's up, everybody? JC News Now. Look what we got right here.
What are you doing?
You're parked in a fire lane.
That's what fire lanes are for, is for police. You have any other problems?
You ain't got your emergency lights on.
Right.
What's your name and badge number? What's your name and badge number, sir? You see this punk?
Yes, we saw the punk's reflection in the mirror. Oh, wait, you're talking about the cop. No, he's not a punk, and he's actually right. When law enforcement officers are called to a scene like this grocery store, they are allowed, within the rights provided by the law and the traffic code, to park in the fire lane to be closer to the door if they have to escort somebody out or if they have to trespass somebody. They don't have to have their emergency lights on, depending on the state, since they are there for official business. But what are you there for? Just to harass the cops?
28. Look at this punk. See what he's doing. Turn your emergency lights on if you're going to be in a fire lane. You think you're above the law? You got to follow the rules too, sir.
And are not coming down until our demands are met.
Willie hears ya. Willie don't care.
Parking in a fire lane. See if we can get his name. That is look here. Fire lane, not police lane. Who do you think you are?
And who do you think you are to tell him how to do his job? Now, if you would read your driver's handbook or even look up the laws for first responders parking in fire lanes, you would see that first responders do have an exemption when it comes to parking in fire lanes or near hydrants when it comes to being on official duty. Since he's there at this store for official duties, more than likely dealing with a shoplifter or somebody who needs to be trespassed, he's allowed to park in the fire lane.
To do a records request on this pump.
Alright, Jim. Right now, we are in the middle of an active investigation. I cannot be distracted by you right now. It's not safe for me.
Well, you're not parked correctly, sir.
I don't really care.
I know you don't. That's the problem. That badge don't...
You see this fire lane red thing? You
Yep.
should go read statutes. This is for emergency vehicles.
If you got your lights on.
Okay. Sorry, I forgot to turn my lights on. Do you have any other issues?
Just, if you're going to park, man, park correctly.
Okay. Please leave.
No.
I can't force you.
You
But I'm
can't.
asking you nicely because I kind of have things to do, and I can't sit here and be distracted by you.
All right, well, your ADD is not my problem. Just do your job.
Well.
Fuck this guy!
Now we're going to jump ahead a little bit just because there's a lot of dead air, and we're going to see the officer return outside of the store with the store management to talk to JC.
Did you solicit a trespass? You did, didn't you? I need to go buy something.
No, you have to leave the property.
Really, I'm being trespassed?
Yeah.
You solicited a trespass?
I didn't solicit nothing.
You didn't ask him? Did he ask you to trespass me?
Well, you're kind of interfering with what they're doing, so can you leave?
Yes, sir, I sure will.
Right.
All right, I'm going to put paper on you, bud. Turn your lights on if you're going to park in a fire lane.
All right.
You're not exempt from the law because you got a badge on. Close your mouth. All right. Got trespassed. Thank you.
Thank you, fuck you, bye, boom!
Thanks, Mr. Cornett, for summing up how we all feel about JC and him being trespassed. Well, what have we learned today, folks? Frauditors cannot hold a conversation with ChatGPT without getting their fee-fees hurt. And they always think when they are being trespassed, it was solicited. So if you guys like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Leave a thumbs up and a comment because it helps me with the algorithm. Don't forget to check out my second channel and the podcast. And with all that being said, be well, be safe, and I'll see you guys next time. And a special thank you to all members of the news team. Without your guys' continuous support, I couldn't keep the channel going. So I want to thank you all personally from the bottom of my heart.